Welcome to the Real-Time Storytime by Robert R. Ricks. We will get this thing started pretty soon. What I need for you guys right now is just to hold tight. We need to allow people to show up because this show is nothing without the viewers. You see, I require keywords or phrases that you will give me, and I will craft a story based off these keywords. I have about 2.5 minutes to create the story, and then after I create the story, I have to see if I got all of the keywords in, at least 10 of them. We try to have at least 10 to 14 keywords, and I attempt to get all of them in, but if I can get at least 10, it's a good day. Now, I know you guys are going to have some really crazy ones. Now, I do need to warn any new viewers. The existing crew that comes here on a regular basis are filthy, nasty motherfuckers with foul language. If the language is going to be a problem, you might want to check out now, because these stories, 9 times out of 10, are extremely vulgar, sometimes violent, oftentimes very weird, sometimes funny. Alright, we'll get this thing started pretty soon. Hang tight.
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, Sitches? It's your boy, Robert R. Ricks, and this is the Real-Time Storytime, where we hope to have some fun with interesting keywords and phrases submitted to me by the viewers. Backwoods couldn't hang, but he wanted to leave a word or phrase. Poopie cock. So, the way this works is, for you folks that are kind of watching this, it is pretty self-explanatory. For you folks that are tuning in on a podcast, this is a story that takes place on YouTube.com. It's a live stream. The viewers give me some words. I have a couple of minutes to put a story together, and then hopefully I can pull a rabbit out of the hat and entertain and have some fun stuff. So there will be words that appear on the screen right now. The word says chat your keywords, followed with boom.
Please submit your words now.
And there'll be some somewhat creepy music. Hey, let's talk to everybody that's here right now while you guys are providing your keywords. We've got the lovely Vixen. We've got Paula Lucky Lope. We got Wicked Zen. I haven't seen my brother Wicked Zen in quite some time, so it's good to see you, brother. Backwoods was here for just the briefest of moments, but he had to bounce. But he left a little nugget for us, literally. We got the Gareth Antelope. We got the Yak, yakety yak. Please come back, Yakalope. And we got lovely Liralope. All right, so oh, COPD. Okay, all right. Let's start writing some of these words down. So of course, backwards is not disappointing. He always leaves something colorful, and this time he left Poopie cock, which I tried to salvage and say, you meant poppycock, right? And he never replied, so we have to go with poopycock. Let's see, then the next, Paula asks, how am I doing? I'm hanging in there, Paula. I'm hanging in there. Yak throws out acid. Then we've got, these boots are made for walking. And that's just what these boots will do. And chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Excuse me. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. COPD. Then we've got senpai. Notice me, senpai. Senpai. Any form. Something wicked this way comes. Something wicked this way comes. Invisibility cloak. Invisibility cloak. Let's see, we got any more? Who let the dog out? Who let the dog out? As in dog the bounty hunter. Okay. Who let the dog out? Yeah, I knew what he meant, wicked. So, Yak, any form. Did you want that as an additional word? I need about 2 more, guys. Throw 2 more out there for me, if you will. In the meantime, I will answer. Let's see, I am good to be here. Okay, yep. So I'm hanging in. I'm a little bit tired, running a little bit late. I was doing some stuff with the kids and got back just in the nick of time to finish up dinner and everything and jump in here. So apologies on me being a little bit tardy. We can turn this off now. Now, one thing I'll tell the listeners, once the story starts up, what will happen is every time I use one of the keywords, there'll be a thing that will flash on the screen. That's really helpful for, the viewing audience to be able to see. You guys won't be able to hear that, so, it's just something you're going to have to remember the keywords. Thank you, Wicked. Okay, not in the face and magic mushrooms. Okay, not in the face and magic mushrooms. Poopy cock, acid. These boots are made for walking. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, aka COPD. Senpai. Something wicked this way comes. Invisibility cloak. Who let the dog out, as in dog the bounty hunter. Not in the face. Magic mushrooms. Now, I have to figure out, a couple of minutes here, if I can rock and roll this. So I think I'm going to go with this. No, that's not the one. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Alright, so we've got 7 in here right now. Today is Sunday, 9/22. Okie dokie. Poopy cock, acid. The boots are made for walking. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Senpai. Something wicked this way comes. Invisibility cloak. Who let the dog out? Not in the face. Magic mushrooms. Okay. I'm going to remind you guys again, the keywords are poopy, cock, acid. I'm still laughing on this poopy cock. Okay. Poopy cock, acid. These boots are made for walking. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Senpai. Something wicked this way comes. Invisibility cloak. Who let the dog out? Not in the face. Magic mushrooms. Okay? So, when I use one of the keywords, this will happen. All you folks listening on the podcast, you're just going to have to remember those keywords. I have just the shortest of notes to which I will use now. Set that up so I can see it from a distance. That's good. I'm going to take this headset off. Free up my ears a little bit. Okay, take a sip of my Coca-Cola beverage. Delish. And away we go. I didn't really mind the tourists. They were there for a reason. In fact, if the tourist didn't come to the island, then we would all suffer. We needed the tourist. The money that they provided kept us working and actually gave some of us a means to survive. Everything was expensive in Honolulu. Milk, your normal commodities, bread, things of that nature, way overpriced. Gas also was getting to be a bit unbearable as well. But I always held a smile on my face, and every single time one of the howlies would come by and they'd ask me for directions on how to get to Waikiki, I would point them with a smile and say mahalo. I was done with my shift, and I handed off to my next, a young girl I hadn't seen before, but she wore the uniform, and I handed her the headset, and I also pointed her to the leis and said, "Have fun, sister, I'm out." And I walked away. It was a nice evening. Not too warm, a little bit of a breeze, and you could smell the flowers in the air. I loved the smell of the flowers in the air. I wasn't hungry, but I knew I needed to get something to eat because in my apartment there was nothing in the fridge. My friends would come by And the first thing they would do is open the fridge, and they'd see nothing but bottles of water. And they'd say, "Oh, how come? How come got no grinds, eh? Oh, should have some kind food or something." And I would just laugh. "Nah, one of the benefits of being downtown's 'cause I get all the good grinds, eh?" And they would laugh. For those of you who don't speak pidgin, grinds just means food. And I live downtown specifically for the eateries, the food, the good stuff. I decided I was going to go to one of the neighboring noodle houses called Yoshi Saimin Haven. Saimin is warmed up noodles that are just heaven. And I knew they were still going to be open just long enough for me to get some ono grinds, for me to get some really yummy noodles. And I'd make sure I'd make it really spicy because I like it that way. I like my food spicy. As I approached Yoshi's, there was a nearby alleyway. Standing there was a small Japanese girl wearing a uniform. I looked at her. She looked bewildered, somewhat dazed. Something in me said, "Nah, just leave her alone. That's one small girl. She's okay. The KK's fine." But then I decided, no, it's getting late. She looks a little too young to be out at this time. So I approached her. "Sister, you okay?" She looked at me. She said nothing. But her eyes were deep and dark and very sorrowful. She carried a weight. I could see it on her. Her eyes, something in her eyes bothered me. I'd seen that look before. I remember my aunt in the hospital, struggling to breathe, struggling with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The look on her face was like wanting to breathe but not able to. There's a little bit of desperation in her eyes. I walked over to her. I reached out slowly, hands out, so she saw my hands, and I put my right hand on her shoulder. "Hey, you okay or what?" She just stared. "Oh, kid, you gotta say something, huh? You okay? What's going on?" She let out an exhale. Her eyes widened a little bit, and she smiled at me. I chuckled a little, relieved. "Okay. Oh, you had me scared for 1 second, girl. Oh, I didn't know. The look in your eyes, oh, I was kind of scared." She reached her hand up, gently put it on mine. "Oh, you hungry?" She nodded. "Oh, I was about to eat. Come on, I feed you." I took her to the front. The waitress smiled at me, recognized me as I was a regular, looked at the little girl. "Who's that?" "Oh, it's kind of like my sister, eh? It's okay. She visiting. It's okay." "Okay." Took us to the back, put us in a booth. I handed a menu to the little girl. "Can read or what?" She nodded. "You know what you like to eat?" She shrugged, seemed indifferent. "Oh, I gonna get the saimin heaven. It's so good. So ono, you like, eh?" She looked at me, tilted her head, nodded. "Okay, there we go." The waiter came. I ordered 2 of the saimin havens for both of us. Saimin heavens. And I said, "Throw in some extra meatballs, eh?" He smiled. "Oh, for real kind. Extra, eh? How much more?" I shrugged. "Oh, throw like 3 more, huh?" He said, "Okay, 3 more, for I love you, eh?" And he winked at me. "Whatevers." He walked away. I looked at the girl. I noticed then, sitting close in a dimly lit booth, her uniform had flecks of red on it. At first, I hadn't noticed on the outside because it was dark, but here, even in the dim light, I could see specks of blood. "Oh, you hurt or what?" She looked at me confused. "Hurt or what?" "Yeah, you hurt or what?" She looked at herself, shook her head. I went I looked at her clothing, and I realized something had to have sprayed on her. Maybe paint. Oh, you go to school around here or what? She shook her head. You from here? Again, she shook her head. I examined her. She looked right for the area. Little Japanese girl, not uncommon in Honolulu. In fact, you couldn't throw a rock in any general direction and not see a cute little bubbly Japanese girl. Well, come on, let me see. I looked on her face, and there was a little speck right by her mouth. I dabbed a napkin into the water, reached forward to wipe. She shied away. Not in the face, she said. What? Not in the face. Odd. Okay, here, you do it then. You got something right here. I show her in her face. She took the napkin, looked at it. She wiped. Handed the napkin back to me. I looked. Noted. It was blood. I was sure it was indeed blood. She looked at me. She looked along my shirt, studied it, studied the pattern on it, looked at my belt, looked at my pants, saw my boots, which were bright red in color, and she smiled. These boots made for walking, she said. Excuse me? She pointed at the boots again. These boots are made for walking. Then it hit me. The song. Oh, these boots are made for walking. She smiled and nodded. Okay. A little odd song for somebody to be fixated with at her age, but nonetheless, I was happy we were making some form of progress. The noodles came. He handed me mine. Handed the young girl hers. Looked at me. Looked at the girl. Inquisitively raised an eyebrow as he looked at me. Noted the young girl was staring at me. Yo, senpai, I think the little one there wants your attention. I sneered at him. Bugger off. He smiled. Bugger off? Oh, where are you going to hear that one from? She says, some of the tourists. I heard some of the tourists saying some fun things, and I like to add them in, eh? You got a problem with that or what? Nah, no problem. Good, 'cause you know what? I'll go broke your face, eh? He smiled. Fucker. He walked away. She looked at me. She said, broke your face? Again, face. Don't touch, no, not in the face, she said, basically. So there was something interesting in the way that she was saying things. Well, if I am going to act as your senpai for the evening, how about we talk a little bit? You live around here? She shook her head. So you're not from here. Do you have family here, though? Again, she shook her head. Do you have a name? She nodded. What is your name? Miko. Miko. Okay. My name is Kim. Pleased to meet you. I stuck out my hand. She regarded it, looked at it, slowly took it, and we shook hands. So, Miko, you don't have family, friends, anybody? Where do you live? She looked around. She shrugged. You have to have somewhere you stay. You have to have somewhere you sleep. Again, she kind of looked at me. Not quite sure what to make of this. Okay. I live down the street, and I have a bed, and I sleep there. Where do you sleep? She pointed at me. No, you don't sleep where I sleep. That doesn't make any sense. Come on, kid. Help me out here. Last thing I want to do is call the fucking police, huh? I don't like call them up. You running from somebody? She shook her head. But there was a pause before she shook her head. And her eyes looked away from me. Huh. Eat your food before it gets cold. She slurped her food a little as I did mine. And I noticed she was matching me, spoonful for spoonful. I looked at her. Something not right with this kid, huh? Okay, you stay here. I'm gonna be right back, okay? She just kept eating. I got up, walked to the front, spoke with the girl. Hey, you see the kid I'm with? Yeah, she kind of weird, huh? Yeah, small kind, but you know what? I kind of worry about her, huh? Like, she kind of look lost, but look, her uniform, she look okay. I mean, she look kind of like one student, something. You recognize the uniform? The waitress, the girl from the front looked. Nah, I don't recognize, huh? So colors look different. Not the same kind I see all the time. Oh, I don't think she's from around here. Yeah, but where's she from then? Nah, I don't know. Oh, you might have to call the cops, huh? Nah, I don't like call the cops. Cops, bad news, huh? Shrugged. Well, I gotta do something, huh? Okay. Well, you let me know. I can call the cops, huh? You just eat your meal. I can call them. Nah, don't do that. Okay. I went back, sat down, looked at Miko. Miko, I gonna pay for your food, huh? You can drink everything. I told the girl, you don't have nowhere to go, huh? But you cannot come home with me. I cannot handle, huh? I already got my own problems. I know can take you too. She shrugged, nodded. So we sat again, and we ate. Now Yoshi's is really, really good. It's a little hole in the wall, but super delicious. The bell rang. Miko looked up. She grabbed my arms. Something wicked this way comes. What? Something wicked this way comes, she repeated with urgency in her voice. I looked. She had a blade in her hand. Where did you get that from? She looked, scanned. She hid. She slid down. A large man had walked in, heavily muscled, had a mullet, weathered skin. He also had piercing eyes. The waitress greeted him. Oh, can I help you? I think I found what I'm looking for. Shoved her hard out of his way. Made a beeline straight for us. I don't know why, but I jumped up. I felt I had to protect the little girl. I got between him and her. Oh, fucker, you got one problem, eh? You need to move. I have work to do. Who let the dog out, eh? Well, you think you fucking dogged the bounty hunter? Fucker, you can leave this little girl alone, eh? Or what? Oh, I'm gonna bust your fucking face, eh? That's what. Funny. He reached forward. He intended to shove me out of the way. But see, in Hawaii, we know how to handle. Girls, they know how to fight. We're not like mainlanders. We can hold our own. Been that way for a long time. He reached up. I snatched his arm. Threw an arm bar. Jumped up, wrapped my legs around his neck. Flung him forward. He slammed hard into the table. Wood flying in different directions. He landed with a oomph. I rolled and got up. Took the little girl by hand. I could feel her pulse as we ran. He was on his feet quick, chasing after us, growling like a feral animal. We were outside. I made a right, ran down the street. I knew this area very well. I grew up here. There was no way this fucker was going to be able to catch us. Ran, went down another alley, hopped the fence. I noted the small girl was quicker than me, more agile. She cleared the fences easier. In fact, one time I was struggling, she reached down and grabbed me and lifted me with very strong hands. Hands that a small girl her size should not possess the strength of. My heart was pounding harder, not out of the fear of being chased and pursued by a large, menacing man, but wondering instead, what had I gotten myself into? What was going on here? I landed. We hid. Suddenly I wished I had one of those invisibility cloaks like I read in the stories. Something to help us hide. She looked at me. I noted her eyes were glowing. Oh, you know what? I think you can handle this, huh? I'm gonna go now, okay? She shook her head. Something wicked this way comes. Something wicked this way comes. Again, we got quiet. I could hear him lumbering. Plum, 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 plum. He got to the fence. I could hear him. He was sniffing the air. I know you're near, little one. Don't make this hard. You will pay for what you did to my brothers. I looked at her. She stared at me, quietly. I will find you. You have tasted our blood, but we've had some of yours, too. We will find you, little one. There's nowhere you can hide. And then I could hear him walking away. Dunk, 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 dunk. Oh, fuck. What the hell is that, girl? What you can get me into? She looked down, almost embarrassed. He's chasing you, eh? She nodded. She said something about his brothers. You can give somebody dirty lickings. She looked at me, trying to understand the word. Oh, you know, dirty lickings. You know? Or you can kick him in the ass. She smiled, nodded. Okay. Oh, man, you didn't scare the shit out of me, eh? Fuck, I feel like I go poopy now. She smiled. Poopy. Yeah, funny word, eh? Yeah, my stomach hurts now. I think I'm gonna have to go get rid of the Yoshi after all of this. I guess you're gonna have to come home with me then, till we figure all this out. I really didn't want to get involved, but something told me I had to be involved. It was too late. Too much had been done. The big man, had seen me, and something told me I was safer with the girl than without her. So I took her with me. We arrived at my apartment, got inside, took a beeline straight to the fridge, opened it up, took out a bottle of water, closed the fridge, and started to chug away. Oh, help yourself, ah? Fuck. Just grab whatever. Shit. Oh, you're kind of crazy, ah, girl. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go change my clothes, okay? So that way, if we have to go run some more, well, I'll be dressed appropriately. You know what I'm saying? She smiled. I went, grabbed some clothes, put on some sneakers, put my hair back, tied it in a knot. If we were gonna fight, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any of my hair getting in the way or anything else. Took off the rings, kept all the big gold bracelets on my wrist. Figured if worse came to worse, they would work really well in a blocking situation. Went back out. She was there, waiting for me. She handed me a bottle of water. Drink. Oh, nah, not thirsty. Drink. Oh, I told you already. I'm not thirsty, eh? Drink. I opened it. I drank. As I did, I noticed there was a weird taste to it. And also the lid didn't snap like it normally does when you open a fresh bottle. I looked at it, and the water wasn't clear. It was somewhat cloudy. I looked at her. Oh, fuck, you didn't dose me or what? Drink. I noted that the taste was somewhat sweet. It wasn't bad. I took another big gulp of it. Felt better. I looked at her. Oh, you didn't slip me some acid or what, kid? You gonna make me trip balls or what? She shook her head. Drink! I drank more. I got to the bottom of it, and everything around me began to shift a little bit. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? The air around me bent and moved and shimmered. It was the shimmering that caught my attention. I reached out, and the air in front of me had a denseness to it, almost like I could grab it and tear it and pull it apart. The little girl stepped forward, smiled at me. She poked at the air, and I saw that it kind of rippled out. Oh, you did slip me something. Oh, I didn't have feelings like this before. She shook her head. No. I said, oh, you can give me something kind of like magic mushrooms or what? Because, oh, I fucking feel funny. Everything looks weird around me. She shook her head. No. Reality. Reality? I looked at her. I noted her eyes that had been glowing earlier now were deeper. They had a ethereal quality to them, almost as if you could see two eyes stacked on top of each other. One was a little bit off phase, but the other was there. The eyes that were off phase, they were a brilliant purple in color. They had almost a feline attribute to them. Oh, your eyes kind of trippy, eh? Oh, look like one cat. She smiled at me. Catu, cat. I said, yeah, cat. And she perked up, and her eyes flashed almost a red in color. Something wicked this way comes. Oh, him again. She nodded. Okay, I ready this time. This is my house. I went into the kitchen. I grabbed 2 of my chopping knives. Nice big ones. Japanese made also. Very high quality. Gifts from my last boyfriend, who was an asshole, but that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about the beautiful blades he had given me to learn how to be a sushi chef. Anyone ever seen these blades in action knew they were wicked sharp. I looked at her. You know how to use this? She smiled. Showed me her blade again. That's right. You got one blade, huh? She nodded. Something wicked this way comes, huh? She nodded. Okay, sister. Let's show 'em how we do, huh? She smiled. It was at that moment when she smiled broadly. A toothy smile. I noted the teeth had fangs. Oh, fucking hell. This is one trippy ass knife for real. I stepped. I looked at her. Door or window? She looked at the window. He's coming there, huh? She nodded. Okay. I took to the side, not up against the wall. I'd seen a lot of scary movies. He was big. My fear was if I was close enough to the wall, he might just reach through, slam me. I didn't know why I had these thoughts, but they were there nonetheless. So I took position somewhat low. I had an idea. If he was chasing us, I would take his legs out. I wasn't going to go for his dick or his balls or anything else, but maybe, just maybe, his Achilles or his calves. Something like that. I waited. She crouched also, low. I could hear her breathe very faintly, and then I heard a noise. It was weird. It was almost like if you took a brick and you slid it on another brick. But there was a little slight thud before the scraping noise. It got louder. I saw her eyes get opened wider. They glowed brightly. I waited. I could hear the sound right outside the window. I noted the lock on the window. It slid on its own, as if I stood up and unlocked it myself. My heart was in my throat. This was some next level scary shit here. I wasn't sure what to do. I was actually frozen. Anticipation filled me. My heart pounded, fighting to get out of my chest, as if it wanted to run away. The window slid open. The curtains billowed slightly in the wind. I saw a massive arm reach in. The other arm reached into the other side. Then I saw his head come up. Just barely, I could see it. As soon as he reached in, he moved. It almost looked like a shadow that spilled out from the outside into the ground. He stood. I went to take the leg. The blade passed harmlessly through. If you've ever swung at something with all your might and you miss, and you weren't anticipating that, you overextend yourself. It is a horrible position to be in. I had swung with everything I had. The blade came back around. I lost balance and fell. He solidified above me, stared down at me. I told you, I'm a getter. I looked up at him. For real kind, you think so, huh? She was on him. She was on his back. That blade stabbing, whipping like a furious stinger on a scorpion, but much faster. So fast, in fact, quite a few of the hits that she had landed, I did not see her actually move. It almost looked like the shoulder part of her head, and part of her abdomen hadn't moved at all. But I knew she was, because I could hear the sickening thud of every strike. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Bits of flesh rending from the body. He howled out. Something warm splattered across my face. I rolled back, kicked low, kicked him right in his poopy cock, and he flew back. He came forward, though. As I did this, she was still on his back, slamming down, so he fell forward. He landed. She cut and cut until she ripped his head loose, threw it on the opposite side of the room, and then proceeded to cut more and more. She took his arms. She took his legs. And I looked. Oh, sister, overkill, for real kind. Stop, too much already. She shook her head. No. Poopycock, poopycock. She had heard what I had called him. I don't know why I said it. It didn't make any damn sense. It just came out. Sometimes you say silly, stupid shit under duress. This constituted a lot of duress. He's done. Stop already. She pointed to the head. The eyes were open. The mouth was moving as if to speak. But since air had been taken from it, there were no lungs to give it voice. Oh, you fucking gotta be kidding me. She kept cutting, and I watched. Everywhere she was cutting, the wounds kept trying to heal. Oh, fuck, this is fucking crazy. What the fuck we gonna do now? She cut more. She cut more. She cut more. Then I had an idea. I grabbed his head, opened my freezer. Thankful for a change, there was nothing in there. Slammed his head inside of it, closed the door, and waited. She looked at me. She smiled. The body had stopped twitching and moving. Oh, I did something right, huh? Oh, what the hell? She smiled at me. She looked one more time. She went to the hand. On the hand there was a ring. She cut the finger off, came over to me, presented the finger and the ring to me. Long time ago I had one cat. This cat was mangy. Oh, I don't even know how I got the cat. I think I just brought the stray home. Oh, I guess some things never change, huh? Anyway, the cat I had before was good at killing shit. Lizards, geckos, you name it. I'd wake up, there'd be one fucking dead thing in the bed with me. The cat always gave to me, huh? I looked at Miko. as she presented the finger to me. It reminded me of the cat. I took the finger, and it was still almost alive. You would think finger severed, bled out, would feel funny, but there it was in my hand, still warm, and the ring. I looked at the ring. The ring had a symbol on it. Oh, why you give this to me? That's gross, eh? She shook her head, pointed to the ring, expectingly. I looked at her. Sister, I think I had enough already. It's too much. I don't even know I'm going to tell the cops, huh? I got one fucking head in my freezer. Oh, there's one body, dismembered, cut up like one fucking serial killer. She shook her head, pointed back at the body. It was dissolving. Again, she pointed at the ring, expectantly. What? What you like me do? Oh, you fucking want me to put the ring on? She nodded. There was expectation. There was fear, apprehension, but there was also a sense of impending urgency. I could feel it. I took the ring off. I put it on my pointy finger. I didn't put on my ring finger or nothing because, not superstitious or nothing, but, I'm not going to put one fucking thing on my ring finger. What if it was, cursed or something, huh? Anyway, I put them on my pointy finger, my right hand. The ring was big. It was too big at first. Then the ring sized down, snug on my finger. Miko smiled. She nodded. She looked relieved. Oh, this is important for some reason. She nodded. She pointed to the freezer. I was nervous. I walked over. I opened it. There was the head. Angry eyes. Staring at me. It had looked as if it had been in that freezer for 1,000 years. Icicles had formed. The skin itself looked frigid, frozen, bitter, broken. Oh, I should leave it in there or what? I'd throw them out, maybe put them in a trash or something. Miko smiled, shook her head. She stood next to me, closed the freezer, took me by the hand, pointed to the front door. Where are we going now? She smiled at me, pointed again at the door. Okay, let's go. As we got closer to the door, I felt a tingling on my finger. I felt almost an electrical vibration that shot through my body. I got to the door. I opened it. There was no hallway anymore. Instead, a vast jungle spread out before me. She smiled, pulled at my hand. My mind reeled. What's this here? She smiled. My home. She pulled on me. I don't like go. I like stay home. She shook her head. My home. Miko, no, I cannot go. I'm scared. She smiled at me. She hugged me. It was a nice hug. There was no pretentious fakeness to it. It was an authentic hug. One filled with gratitude and a deep, warm love. I'd been hugged like that maybe once or twice my entire life. Once from my mom, and once from my grandma. Nobody had ever tingled my insides the way she did with that hug. I looked at her. I looked back at my apartment. Thought about it. Oh, fuck. I know this is one bad decision, huh? But you know what? Fuck. Let's go. I walked with her, hand in hand, and we walked out. I looked back. The door was gone. I looked up at the sky. There were 3 suns that greeted me. One that was purple in color, one that was yellow, just like ours, and one that had a blue tint to it. I looked back again at Miko in this new light, also still feeling whatever it was that she had given me to drink, and I saw her for what she really was. She was not a little girl, as I first thought she was. but actually a woman. A very small, petite, small-framed woman, but yet a woman nonetheless. Her facial structure was very, very interesting. Her jaw had a weird, pronounced segment at the base of it that I knew could probably unhinge. It reminded me of a lizard. And her eyes in the true form, were unlike anything I'd ever seen before. Both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Whoa, what are you, Miko? She smiled at me. Senpai. Was she calling me senpai? Or was she the senpai? I knew the adventure of my life was about to begin. Okay, I think that's pretty much a good spot to segue and stop from. Let's see, we had poopycock, acid, these boots are made for walking, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, senpai, something wicked this way comes, invisibility cloak, who let the dog out, not in the face, and magic mushrooms. So I think we covered everything. Vix had said this would be a badass series. Yeah, it does have that kind of a weird vibe to it. I kind of really liked it. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. So my notes here say, girl on the run in Hawaii named Miko. And that's all I had. So it is definitely one that was kind of fun, kind of different. A little bit on the, it's like, is this going to end up ultimately being a story of no good deed goes unpunished? Or is this basically, her actually going on a full-up adventure and, self-awareness and everything else? So I definitely think this could turn into a fun story, especially with, Kim. She, is your typical local sister from Hawaii. Like, in Hawaii they scrap. They don't, I know firsthand. I've gotten my ass kicked a couple of times by girls in Hawaii, and I say that as a badge of honor because some of them sisters out there know how to throw down for real kind. So I thought it was fun. I could throw a little bit of pigeon in there for all of my Hawaiian friends that check this out. There you go. Well, Paula, there is a little bit of that feline part in there. There is something with Miko. So Miko is definitely more than she appears to be. And also, she's was on a run from something. But yeah, she's definitely got cat-like attributes. That's the feeling I was getting as we did it. So anyway, yeah, you know what? There does seem to be another worldly thing that those stories could kind of end up sliding together, Garen. Kind of like the Rainbow Kitten Storytime. Yeah, it is a little. There was a little bit of familiarity there, and I think the lore could lend itself very well to each other. So we shall see. But that, my good friends, is the end of the real-time story time. We would do this again next Sunday. I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me, letting me go a little bit crazy and tell a fucking crazy story. I was a little worried about the poopy cock because I could have went really pornographic and nasty with it, but I didn't really want to this story. I kind of wanted to just go a little different direction than my first instincts were. So I like to challenge myself and not do what I think is going to be expected and kind of go from there. All right, guys, but that's it for now. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And that's going to be it. I might try to do another real-time story time in the middle of the week. I might do one on Wednesday. We'll see. But I do enjoy these. So I did say in the past that I wanted to do multiple episodes. So this one takes care of Sunday. And if we can squeeze one in on Wednesday, we will. All right. But that's it for now, guys. We're going to go ahead and end this out. And I will see you guys later. If you like it, please subscribe. Tell your friends far and wide. And see if we can grow this. Also, just want to remind everybody that Harry's Situation is out. That was one of our real-time story times that was turned into a story. And we're gonna keep doing some of these, and I've just been really slammed lately, but I'm done with some projects, so now I could go back to doing writing like I like to. But we will always be doing these real-time story times. So that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.